I predict here and now that within ours, or perhaps your lifetime, a work of art will be sold for 1 billion, for a mental value that we give to a particular work of art. That's why the product art is unique. We see art as one of humanity's highest assets. How much is the global art market really worth? There are countless players involved, namely hundreds of thousands of artists, an estimated 17,000 active galleries worldwide, not to mention auction houses, art consultants, and private intermediaries. You can compare the art world to a car. The diverse people involved, they are like the individual car parts. First are the artists. They create the work of art. They are like the engine. Standing across from the artist are the collectors. They believe in the quality of the artist and are interested to invest. They are the fuel. But between the artists and the collectors, there are also a huge number of important players, and they are just as important as the lubricating oil, the clutch, or the brakes. This includes museums and curators, critics and the media, and of course, auction houses and gallerists like me. We gallerists are the first to believe in an artist and to invest capital in his or her talent, giving them a platform of publicity and an economic foundation. According to a report by Art Basel and UBS, art sales in 2019 amounted to around 65 billion American dollars, with the three largest markets, China, the US, and the UK, accounting for 80% of the sales alone. Of these, 58% were realized in galleries and 38% by auction houses. Online sales worldwide across all distribution channels amounted to approximately 10% of the value. This gives you an idea of the size of the art market, although you probably can't really talk about size, seeing that 65 billion US dollars is less than the turnover of the chemical company BASF. But the number is deceptive and does not reveal everything, because the significance and image of the art market enjoy a high level of media attention. The exclusivity and prestige value of art are exceptional. Art is a very vulnerable part of the economy because it is subject to influences of all kinds, including the changing taste of the time, the media, and the opinions of supposed experts such as consultants, museum directors, gallerists, and investors. Art has become a truly global business. One day, in retrospect, we will eventually recognize something, that this very difficult time is producing special art. It's notable that in a time of global disorientation of established values, art alone offers a healing and creative effect on people and the society. But the artists are not alone in experiencing something wonderful in the middle of the crisis. I did too, as a gallery owner and dealer of fine art. In my gallery, Die Galerie in Frankfurt am Main, we've been long preparing an extensive exhibition of drawings and selected graphics works of Pablo Picasso. The opening ended up directly with the beginning of the lockdown in Germany, an economic disaster, but also an opportunity to break new grounds. However, I was always convinced that we would survive this crisis, and Picasso's art in particular was an encouragement. Picasso, the genius of the 20th century, survived a number of quite difficult crises through his art, a totalitarian system in his native Spain, 2 world wars, a world economic crisis, personal and private disasters. And in the process, he created the greatest art I know. Not everything is over yet, but with awareness and unwavering positivism, we are working on overcoming it all. In this context, Angela Merkel's motto also applies to us: we can do it. Like all sectors of the economy, the art market has been dramatically affected by the pandemic. In contrast to the systemic crisis of the 2008 economic crash, Corona affects all countries and all regions of the world. So unlike 12 years ago, we have a global problem at hand. In the last months, virtually all art fairs from New York to London, Basel to Paris, and Hong Kong to Berlin have been cancelled. Art fairs are a major revenue factor for galleries, this window to the world. But no oysters, no champagne, and no hand sanitizer can make the privileged visitor of these fairs immune to corona infection. The impact of the pandemic on the art market is unprecedented. Auction houses such as Sotheby's and Christie's have closing branches. Exhibitions in galleries and museums have been cancelled. Many galleries around the world have closed the door and are likely to remain permanently shut. All the associated industries, including shipping companies, booth builders, and insurance, are suffering from a significant drop in turnover. In the Asian market, another factor will be stirring things up in the coming years as well, namely the political changes in Hong Kong, the city that up until now was the gateway to the Asian art market. In any case, the ancient wisdom is that crisis brings great opportunities. Currently, the virus is unleashing entrepreneurial forces in an astonishing way. Innovation is a driving force in art and the market for art. In crisis, the creativity of people flower the best. Let me return once again to the example of Picasso, or to be more specific, to his famous painting Guernica. In 1936, Picasso was commissioned by the Spanish Republic to produce a painting for the Spanish pavilion at 1937 Paris International Exposition. It was supposed to be about new technologies. Picasso, however, decided to make a political statement when, in April of 1937, the German Legion Condor, a unit of the National Socialists and allies of Franco, razed the Basque city of Guernica to the ground, and in an unprecedented air raid, and above all, murdered the civilian population. Picasso's monumental painting made the incredible horrors and unimaginable suffering of the people tangible for an audience of millions. Since then, Guernica has become one of the most imposing anti-war icons of mankind. The painting's universal statement remains relevant to this very day. The painting was lent to the Museum of Modern Art in New York, where it hung for 40 years, because Picasso had decreed that his painting could be returned to his home country of Spain only after liberty and democracy had been restored there. And so, Guernica did not return to Spain until 1981, after the death of General Franco, and today the painting is permanently housed in the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid. Throughout art history, there are many other examples of how artists, as pioneers, forged, depicted, and thus influenced a new vision of man and the world. Why is art so important? Because it is the healthiest approach to dealing with problems. Art was and is an initiator of change. Art offers catharsis, as with the ancient Greeks, the purification of the soul and the sublimation of the mind. Art helps to focus on the essential. It holds a mirror in front of our society and its faults, sticks its finger into the wound, and, in the best case, has ideas for solutions. Perhaps, as a gallery owner, I profit the most directly from those possible approaches to world improvement. Everyone who is active in the art market has to open their eyes. It is an interesting time with great opportunities. In view of the worldwide cancellations of events in the sphere of art, galleries, museums, auction houses, and other cultural players must now break new grounds. They must reinvent their digital development or accelerate it so as to meet the needs of an audience that can no longer be met in physical spaces. Currently, all protagonists of the art market are focused in developing their virtual service platforms in order to bring their programs and offers and initiatives closer to the audience. When it became clear in March that this year that spectacular Picasso exhibition could not be viewed in my gallery because we, like everyone, would be affected by a lockdown, we intensively thought and established new ways of imparting art. Since then, GALERIE presents all current exhibitions online in 3D. With your computer and mouse, you can now enter the different rooms of GALERIE once after the other and view all the artworks, as well as get all the relevant technical data such as format and techniques. In addition, we now show online films, send out weekly emails with text and image information to our customers, and produce podcasts focusing on individual special works of art. In this way, through an intensive virtual presence, we hope to be able to compensate for the lack of physical proximity to our customers.
The World Knowledge Forum